existing at the moment. I think what is happening this year, although we have seen a repeat of this in previous years, is much worse than it has been before. Already this year, over 200 Palestinians have been killed. This number is much greater than it was since at least 2 or 3 decades. So I think that points to what is likely to come as we progress through the month of fasting. I think already we have got in Israel a government that many Israeli politicians, many Israeli journalists, and have called it a fascist regime. Okay, they have got members who have actually been convicted of racist crimes in Palestine and who have actually called for the destruction of Palestinian villages in Palestine, who have called for the removal of the Palestinians from their homes in Palestine. So I think the Palestinians are facing a fascist regime in Palestine, and we have got every duty to actually stand in solidarity with them. So I think what I'm going to do also is try and concentrate what we can do here. I think there are several things happening today. There is a demonstration outside the Israeli embassy in London, and I'm sure there are many demonstrations like this across the country. So I think we need to have more of these demonstrations. They can be called at short notice. So if you're interested in organizing any of these events, similar events like this, in different parts of the city, in different parts of the country, or even here, please put your name to a list that's on that table there, and we will try and contact you through WhatsApp or your email address that you have left behind. So I think that's one thing. The second thing is, this is also the 75th year of the continuing Nakba. The Nakba was the time when Palestinians were evicted out of their homes in the whole of Palestine. 75% of the Palestinians were actually made refugees. This is the refugees that we hear about. They are not only refugees living outside of Palestine, they are refugees within Palestine as well. Most of Gaza consists of Palestinian refugees from other parts of Palestine. So does the West Bank, and so does, well, some parts of East Jerusalem as well. Now what is happening is that the Israeli regime wants every Palestinian to leave the whole of Palestine. That is not going to happen. The Palestinians are determined to fight for their rights. They are determined to return to their homes, and they are determined to end this fascist regime, and we need to support them. So I think we'll have a few speakers here today, but also I would hope that you would volunteer to help. And one last point before I finish and call another speaker is that on the 13th of May, there's going to be a coach going from here to London demonstration, which is marking the 75th year of the Nakba. I would expect that that coach will be filled, and there is going to be leaflets available. There is also going to be email or network or through WhatsApp and everything else, and there will be a way for you to register. So I think if we can fill more than one coach, that will be good. The coach will go from Moore Street, it will go from the Central Mosque, and it will also go from Walsall. So the details will be available later. Thank you very much. Our group, and I think he will speak to what's happening with how they are organizing to try and communicate to the Palestinians. I think we had a couple of women who came to Birmingham, I think 2 weeks ago, and they had a meeting in Birmingham. They had 2 meetings in Birmingham, and they had a meeting in Walsall as well. So Martin.
Thanks, Naeem. And this is the toughest time the Palestinians have had for some time, as we all know. I'm not going to go through in any detail, although the situation at Al-Aqsa in particular is extremely serious. And we have in Warsaw a friendship group, the Warsaw Kobar Friendship Association, which we've built over the last 15 years. We have people coming over from this large village, small town, Kobar, north of Ramallah, and we in turn have gone over there on a whole number of occasions. And this has helped build links and understanding and perhaps get beyond the normal circles, because we need to take the understanding and argument of what's happening to the Palestinians way beyond us normal suspects. It's great that we come together in order to mark what's happening, but also to sharpen our arguments to take them out from here. But as we all know, this is not enough. We have to build a really serious solidarity movement that reaches out through the population here and undermines the ability of the British state to continue to underpin what the Israeli regime is doing. The situation in Palestine is only possible in the horrendous way it is at the moment because of Western backing, particularly the United States, but also the British government and other Western governments have underpinned the Israeli assault on the Palestinians. And just before I say a little bit about the Friendship Group, I think we have to recognize all the time that we have a particular purpose and responsibility here, because the British state has been central to the creation of the Israeli state. So briefly, just to go back to where we were, we have brought visitors over from Palestine. We hope to do that again in the summer. It gets more and more difficult all the time, of course, because it is hard for Palestinians to leave their homes. The particular place that we have links with, Khobar, now has 3 settlements around it, encroaching on their village. The settlers come into their village at night with impunity, breaking things, intimidating people, and the people of Khobar in this situation simply have to stay in their homes. They're afraid that if anyone is able to in any way challenge the settlers, that they will simply be killed, or at very least detained and beaten up. It is a desperate circumstance repeated over and over and over again around Palestine. So clearly the job of solidarity works at many levels. If we are successful in bringing these visitors, as indeed Naeem just mentioned, we had some visitors earlier, a couple of weeks ago, who were touring the country. It does allow you to take the cause of Palestine into the heart of communities that might not otherwise hear the message. So if we bring those visitors, I hope as many people as possible will work with us in taking them round to different parts of the West Midlands community, and once again raise the issue of solidarity and freedom for Palestine, an issue for the whole movement. So, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Palestine! Free, free! 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 Palestine! Palestine! I think one of the things that has happened over the last couple of years is that various international organizations, particularly human rights organizations, have actually declared Israel to be applying apartheid in occupation in the whole of Palestine. So I think there are the International Human Rights Organization, there is Amnesty International, which is also based in England, that has acknowledged that Israel practices apartheid. So I've got a representative from the Amnesty International in Birmingham. They're going to say a few words.
Hello, we're from Amnesty International. Amnesty has made a report to condemn the Israeli apartheid, and we're campaigning to end it. At the moment, we're trying to raise awareness, and then we'll take action, and we try to change people's attitudes. For example, another campaign we're involved in is JCB, demolishing homes in Palestine. We're campaigning at the Elbit factory in Shamston, which I'm sure several of you are also campaigning for. So finally, and we're working together with the other human rights organizations.
Just to say that the Amnesty campaign is going to run for 8, 9, 10 years. But we think that it's really important to actually get together with other groups who are really backing the Palestinians. And we won't give up, and we would urge people maybe to think about joining Amnesty International as a human rights organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think one of the problems we have got is that countries like Britain and the United States and most of the Western world supplies the arms that Israel uses to oppress Palestinians. In fact, Israel uses to kill Palestinians. And I think in one particular instance, there's a company called Albit that actually supplies drones, and particularly in the West Midlands, they supply engines that are used in those drones, and those drones have been identified to be used in Gaza and also in the West Bank for targeted killings. Okay, so I think we have got somebody from here who is going to talk to you about what we can do about Albit and what is actually being done about Albit as well. So Jeremy.
Hello. So, in May, we Palestine Action are going to Elbit in Leicester. We are going to lay siege to Elbit in Leicester, and we are not leaving until Elbit is shut down. Shut Elbit down! Shut Elbit down! Shut Elbit down! Shut Elbit down! Now, Elbit have 10 outlets in Britain. That's their situation a few years ago. They had 10 factories building machines of death. They now have 8 factories because we shut 2 of them down. We shut them down in Oldham. We shut them down in London. We are going to shut them down in Leicester in May. Now, to do that, we need help. So what do you think? We have a sign up right here. We need plenty of help. We need help organising. We need help with the logistics. And most of all, we need your solidarity to come over to Elbit in Leicester in May and show us your solidarity. Put your bodies on the line, or just support. So, Elbit down! Shut Elbit down! Shut Elbit down! Shut Elbit down! Now, we have a sign up right here. We've got nice little leaflets that you can read, and we also have online workshops where you can get further details of what Elbit are doing, not only to Palestine, but to Kashmir. And even to refugees in the sea. They are sending their machines of death to target these innocent people. So we need to shut them down. Come and help us. Come and help Palestine Action. Because direct action is daring the authorities to shut us down. And we will not be deterred. We're going to shut Elbit down. Thank you.
Basically means killing Palestinians and violating their dignity with no respect for the holy places or other religions. It is a message for those who are willing to visit the mosque. I am really afraid from this situation, as similar violence took place during the holy month of Ramadan in past years. These actions have resulted in an escalation of missile launches in Gaza, putting civilians in most danger. They also go on to talk about how children are being targeted and how the IDF are shooting people in the head. They say we will mention to you 2 events other than the condemned incursions into Al-Aqsa. The first incident took place in the town of Salwan. About 10 minutes after the Ramadan Iftari time, the child Omar Abu Mayala was shot with 3 bullets in the stomach and was arrested while he was bleeding. The second incident, a settler walking in the streets of the old city threatened a 17-year-old child, so he shot him in the shoulder. The occupation authorities came to withdraw the settler from amongst the crowd of people without placing him into handcuffs. In Palestine, we live in a time that gives rights to the rights violators and tries to take life from every Palestinian. But surely we one day will be victorious, and we hope it is not long. Victory to Palestine, victory to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Palestine! Free! Free! Palestine! Free! Free! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine!
I just want to add that we know that the Israeli occupation has been taking place for over 50 years. They've been illegally occupying Palestinian land. As the Amnesty International report says, over 50,000 Palestinian homes and structures have been destroyed. Over 600,000 Israeli settlers are now living in occupied Palestinian land. Since the occupation first began in 1967, Israel has inflicted discrimination, hardship and suffering on the Palestinian people through a system of apartheid that deprives them of basic human rights and basic needs. Now imagine that during the night you get a knock on your door and 6 police officers enter your home and tell you it is no longer your home and that you have to leave it. And as you forcibly are evicted, there's a family there waiting with their bags, with smiles on their faces, because now they have made your home their home. Imagine today, in coming here, you had to pass 3 checkpoints and not knowing if you'd make it today. Every single day, the Palestinians have to face this reality. They don't know whether they're going to make it to their schools on time, to their work on time, to the hospital. This is the reality for Palestinians every single day. So just for a moment, imagine that reality. But that's not our reality. And thank God, because we have freedoms and we have privileges. But we must use our freedoms and privileges to fight for those who are denied theirs. So what does this mean? Firstly, we must remember that what is happening in Palestine is not a religious conflict. It is occupation, illegal occupation. It is an apartheid regime. And we must remember it as that. Also, we must remember that Palestinians don't need our charity. For people from Birmingham, during Birmingham action, and if you can take action with them, it's because of organisations like Birmingham Action and Palestine Action Group that we've managed to get Pima to back out of Israel, support Israel. They're also trying to stop Arabic factories who are making arms against the Palestinians. Join PSC, because PSC is also organising. And if you can't join the organisation, donate to them so they can act. And secondly, take part in boycotts. We know boycotts have worked in the past, and that's why the state's trying to stop boycotts. So think about where you spend your money, the dates you buy, the avocados you buy.